USA, USA, USA,
USA,
USA.
Come on, you US.
Up the States.
The United States. Let's go, baby.
That's what
Repping it.
people are shouting. United States. It just doesn't have the same ring to it. We got to make some more chants.
I don't want to
We'll
call
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
rift in this stream, but I will be rooting for Panama and pretty heavily at that. So I wasn't sure who you two would be rooting for. Obviously, the chant up front gave me some indication, but just say it out loud so I know what I'm up against.
Name 3 Panamanian players.
You know, it's funny you say that because we are going to pull up the starting lineups from today's game in just a second as the players take the field. Whoever is here with us, thank you for joining us. This is our first Footy Fellas live stream in a minute at that. But we're excited to watch the U.S. in World Cup qualifying action where the games actually matter.
We're watching it from the humble home here in Chicago, Illinois, and gracing the screen from the great north, the great white north, is our boy Icy Dino. Icy, how you doing, brother?
Doing great. Really happy about this game. This will be my first U.S. Qualifying match that I'm catching live and not just the highlights. So I'm stoked for it. Let's go. And it's in Panama tonight. A little raucous crowd. It's beautiful.
I sincerely hope we get some Panamanian supporters in the chat. Tate throwing in Roman Torres on the team. Appreciate that because, you know, we could use all the help we can get from y'all.
Yeah.
So we're obviously all rooting for the U.S. Depending on where you're joining from, maybe we have some fans rooting for Panama, but probably pretty U.S. heavy if we had to guess.
I mean, I think we can all agree everyone is rooting for the U.S. Big underdog story, small nation, humble roots. Lot of big dreamers here, and we're just trying to make a difference. For real though, I think this U.S. team is starting to really hit its stride after its pretty comprehensive win over Jamaica a couple days ago, and so the lineup that we're looking at today. Is it how changed is it? Do you know from the team that we had last week?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the lineup for the U.S. today and how that compares to last week's lineup. Thanks for bringing it up, Jones. A couple of big changes that hopefully everyone can see. The names are a bit small, but wanted to put these side by side because it's a very different looking U.S. team today, given they're playing simply 4 days later. So Berhalter has to manage the squad, has to manage tired legs, rotations that work together, probably a very similar formation, but key names like McKinney, Tyler Adams, both not starting in the middle. You've got Pepe, who's been on fire for the U.S., who's scored 3 of their last biggest goals in the previous 2 games as they've started to pick up some steam. He's not starting up top, as well as Brendan Aronson, who's looked really strong. So a lot of new players for this U.S. side as they try to keep the streak going.
Icy, how are you feeling coming into this game? Just watching the national anthems play at the moment, I'm not seeing a super hostile crowd. It looks a little sparse. I feel like we might actually be able to kind of start on the right foot today.
Yeah, I mean, the fan sections are packed in the stadium, but the maybe middle ground, those middle seats, the half line, are a little bit sparse. I see what you're saying, but I mean, tons of noise. The passion's there from the fans. I think it's going to be a good game. You know, Panama sitting 4th in the Concacaf table, right? And for viewers who are joining us, welcome. And the top 3 get automatic World Cup bids. So Panama is very hungry. They want to get in that top 3 spot. And U.S. sitting in first. But just barely, right? We have 8 points, and I think Mexico has 8 points, and Panama has 6 points. So we're not too far ahead. This game is very important. So I hope we come out on top. I just heard a commentator say we haven't scored in the first half in a considerable number of matches. So we need to get off and score in the first half, I think.
It's interesting that the U.S. hasn't started that hot, even though they've won these last couple games. It's been just holding steady, even some early mistakes that I remember from some of those where like Mark McKenzie in some of the earlier games and other defenders giving away the ball, us not looking too great in the first 45, and then just turning on the Jets in the second half and piling in the goals. So maybe we can make it happen early today. Give us some stuff to be excited about in the first half for a change.
At minimum, we hope to keep you excited. We have some random bits of information we'll be sharing with you throughout the stream. Probably bits of information that you already know. And we hope to keep you entertained. We will not be streaming it because it is, I believe, illegal to share,
as they say,
unfortunately. But we will, of course, keep you abreast of any and all updates. I can maybe make my role today, guys. I will be the clock. I'll let you know when we've hit the next minute of each.
Every minute? You're going to count off every minute?
I'll be the minute guy. I'll be the minute man. And you guys do the play-by-play. I think that's what all booths have been missing. You have the color commentary, the play-by-play guy, and then you need the minute man.
The minute man.
I'm going to be the minute man today, guys.
That's a 4-year program too, becoming a clock major. That's not an easy job. No. So pay your respects to Max in the chat for being the minute man, tracking the clock, and also going crazy when the U.S. scores.
0, by the way, minute 0.
Off to a great start. Yeah, throw in the chat. We want to hear everyone's score predictions. Let's put up we'll stop sharing the lineups. We'll come back to this as we kick off, just to take note if we have any new people joining us. Everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the Footy Fellas. But throw your score predictions in the chat for this US Panama game. We must give ours, as is obligatory for the host. So Icy, we'll start with you. The U.S. have looked good. Do they continue their winning streak of games in Concacaf World Cup qualifying?
Yes, I do think we get a win tonight. Panama, from the standings, they're quite good. I haven't seen them play, but I imagine they're going to put up a fight. I think they're going to, I say 2-1 USA.
Okay.
2-1 US. Okay. Respectable. What's up, Minecraft dude? Game has not started yet. It is about to kick off. We're doing scoreline predictions. Tell us what you think the score will finish in the chat. And the ref has just blown the whistle. So before someone scores, Jones, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go with show me some goals. Give me a 2-2 finish. I think US comes out hot, but not enough to hold them off.
So we've got 2-1 Icy, 2-2 Jones, high scoring. I think the US are going to struggle without Pepe, who has looked so good, and they did kind of struggle in their first 2 games. Obviously, he's not everything. The U.S. team has a bunch of talented players all across the board, all around the field, but I do think they might struggle to score if Gyasi Zardes can't, regain some of that older form, perhaps. Or who else is starting up top? We just had the lineup here. Weah actually looked really good when he came on against Jamaica, so I could see Timothy Weah putting in a goal, but I think it'll be more of a 1-1 game. I think we could see a scoreless first half again, as is customary with the U.S., like you mentioned, Icy, and could see some late goals, perhaps. We've got a 2-1 Minecraft dude. Appreciate that. Everyone share. We're looking for scoreline predictions here in the chat. Winner gets a prize. It might or might not be an old Snickers bar mailed to your house, but it's a prize.
Melted and re-hardened. It's the beautiful process.
We are sorry, guys. We're in the first minute. Just to be posted.
Clock guy.
We in the first 9 seconds of this match, we had Zardes already throwing bows, so you'll have to see that.
Guy Jordan with a 1-0, 1-0 U.S. prediction. So everyone's thinking in the 1-0, 2-1, 2-2 range. It's going to be a close game. That's for certain.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, after coming out of that Jamaica game so strong, that the U.S. has now kind of picked up momentum and might start to roll on the rest of the CONCACAF opponents. But this game could very well determine just how real this U.S. momentum actually is. If U.S. is able to comprehensively handle Panama away, I think you can feel pretty confident that this U.S. team is here for real. But it's early on, the second minute specifically, and it's looking like a good physical contest. Guys, I'm excited. This is a great game. It's a beautiful day with some beautiful people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for everyone who's joining and watching with us, or watching alongside of us. We unfortunately cannot show the game due to copyright laws. We'll get in trouble. YouTube will get mad at us and take us down. We'll be in trouble. But big match for everyone who's joined us. Just want to reiterate that top 3 teams from this Concacaf group make it to the World Cup, and right now we're in first place, but barely. So a win would go a long way for the squad tonight.
Let's take a look at that CONCACAF group as we reach the 3rd minute. The game is on Paramount Plus specifically. Adam, if you're looking to watch with us and hang out, here's a look at the standings. I'll zoom in a bit. Whoa, that's a lot. That's more than a bit. But here's a look at the standings. As Icy mentioned, U.S. on top, mostly on goal differential. So U.S. and Mexico dominating. Canada undefeated as well, but 3 draws. So they're sitting in 3rd. Panama, who the U.S. is playing right now, game just started. They're in 4th. That's how you know it's going to be a competitive contest. And then Jamaica, all the way at the bottom, who has gotten beat up on so far.
Nice. We had a first attempt on goal. Let's go.
Early chance for the U.S. Yeah.
Off
Nice
the corner kick. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Walker's.
I think set pieces are going to be definitely our forte. I have no data to back that up, but I would imagine our sizing is we have an advantage in the sizing compared to most of these teams. So I imagine that we'll be hopefully getting many more set pieces and chances like that.
100%. We even Shaq Moore, the right back starting today, seeing him streaking forward in like the 1st or 2nd minute, getting one of those through balls. It just reminded me how strong our right back squad depth is right now in the U.S. You've got Des starting, who plays for Barcelona. You've got Shaq Moore and at least 1 or 2 other right backs who, I mean, Anthony Robinson on the left. Who else on the left? Who's starting on the left tonight? Bello. So just outside backs for the U.S. at a time when the outside back position is getting popular around the world. It's good to see that we're keeping up, is my point.
Reggie Cannon.
Thank you.
We've got Brian Reynolds.
Thank you. You see, he's outside back, right?
Yeah.
And he's on Roma now?
Yes. Good call. Who else? Jonathan Bornstein? No. Guys, this U.S. team has got youth. It's got some interesting, hopeful depth. But again, it's games like today that are really going to prove it out. It's games like today where can we win away at Panama? I think our win away earlier, if you guys are following the qualifiers, the game against Honduras, a month or so ago, extremely exciting, very compelling game. Anything can really happen in these away matches in Central America. So we may be coming in feeling hot. We may have if you're looking at like a net value player per player on the field, yeah. I imagine the U.S. probably is a little bit, definitely a more valuable team, but anything goes. Anything's possible. If Panama were to run away with this game, we really wouldn't be that surprised. It's that unpredictable in this tournament.
Absolutely. Anything's possible in the soccer realm. Sheriff beat Real Madrid in Champions League. So
it's true.
Any team is vulnerable and they can lose on any given day.
And as the saying goes, the U.S. is the Real Madrid of the international football world. So that's actually a great comparison.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
Actually, I think people usually compare Sheriff to Panama.
Heard that before. Ooh, early chance for Panama, thwarted by the U.S. defense.
We're about the 7th minute. By the way, sorry, I've been negligent.
Come on, slacking.
Yeah, that's
5 years of school. 5 years of school
for nothing. The game, David, Adam. The game is on Paramount Plus. So that is where we're watching the game. That's where we're talking about the game here, though. Yeah, go ahead, Ice.
So I was that you may also be on ESPN as well.
Yeah. Might also be on ESPN. Throw your questions in the chat, though. In addition to what channel we're watching on, which we will happily answer repeatedly throughout this live stream. What do you think about the U.S.'s performance so far in World Cup qualifying? Top of the group after 4 games. Started off like this, turned it around. Now we're feeling good. But how have you felt throughout World Cup qualifying? Have you felt like Jones right here? Just a topsy-turvy, roller coaster of emotions? Or have you been feeling confident? You knew the U.S. would turn it around. We want to hear where you're at, and we'll answer any questions too. 0-0. Thank you, Icy. It's the interesting comment here from Guy. The hand-wringing over call-ups and lineups is a product of just how deep we are in 2021, 100%. 10 to 15 years ago, our 28th best player was much less talented than whomever that player is now.
It's a very eloquent point there that I think we collectively agree with. Furthermore, not only is the 28th guy that we're pulling into this roster, or at least in the rotation for the U.S. national team, someone who can compete, but it's someone that we probably know of. The depth of this team is exciting in that not only are you pulling in guys who are young and legitimately talented, but these are players who are cutting their chops most likely in Europe and for a major team or a team that is known for creating major players. So, very exciting time in U.S. men's national team play. And we're hoping today can be another example of it. In particular, someone that I'm really excited about watching. I'm a big Bello guy. I'm a big fan of Bello. I show me a diminutive, speedy, pacey wing back, and I will show you a fun game. Wherever he's on the field, it's usually going to be entertaining. And I think this is one of his few caps that he's just kind of cracking into. So hopefully he's really starting to hit his stride and can be an impact player today.
Where's Bello? Who's he play for?
Plays for Atlanta United, or is that wrong?
He's on, I think, believes Sporting KC, but there was talk of him moving internationally, like a lot of these other players. Wow, great last-ditch tackle from the U.S. defense. Panama has shifted the tides here. Last couple of minutes, they've been really attacking over and over, and the U.S. is just clearing it, staying safe. But yeah, back to Bello. Where's he at? You look it up?
He just transferred to Atlanta United. In fact, he's always been at Atlanta United. But he once had, it said he had good barbecue ribs in Kansas City once. So it's probably
that's
where
what it was.
May have heard that.
I met him there.
Eli, who are you excited about watching in today's game for the U.S.?
I'm excited about Weah up front.
Yes.
Who came on last game with like 10, 15, 20 minutes left and looked really dangerous just going at players. And to Guy's point, the U.S. is so talented where some of these players off the bench now are dangerous in their own right and probably could be starting like they are today, even though they're not, they're starting more as a rest thing, but could be starting. They just offer a different element to the game. Like him attacking is very different than Aronson whipping in balls, where Weah might get in the box more often, look to get on the end of some of these and play more of that traditional striker, even if he's starting out wide. So it gives Berhalter some options. And then the question's up to him. How do we go up against tactically? How do we go up against a team like Panama? Or how do we go up against the teams we'd play in the World Cup if, knock on wood, we get there? Gives him options. So I'm excited to see Weah prove his spot, his worth in the lineup today. What about you, Ice?
Yeah, I took a look at the lineup, and man, the team is so new, so many young, fresh faces that I'm actually mostly going to be concerned with Berhalter himself, and to hope that his managerial skills are up for the task. I waver on his skills, and as a team that's arguably the best quality, at least at the individual level, that the U.S. national team has probably ever had. He's got to do something with it, and it'd be embarrassing if he couldn't. So I put a lot of pressure on him to get this team going to where they need to go. Now that's going to come. I'm looking for like timely subs if people are looking a little iffy, or right now we're in 4-3-3. Does that change if goals aren't coming? Stuff like that. Yeah, this is the managerial strategy stuff. But
100%.
I think it's looking pretty good right now in the game. I like our midfield. We seem composed and are getting a little 1-2 touch in there, which is looking good, but a little sloppy on the wings and some careless turnovers so far from the outside.
Jonah, what is up? Welcome back, our faithful live stream companion. Welcome to everyone who's hanging out with the Footy Fellas, hopefully watching the U.S. Panama game. If not, just chilling. That's fine. We're here to banter, throw, conversation topics, random questions in the chat. We'd love for us all to just have one happy afternoon, one happy night where we can just get lost in U.S. soccer and talk about other shenanigans as well.
And look, guys, it doesn't have to be just one night. If you want to hang with us more often, follow us a little follow. Give a little follow. Give a little subscription to your boys at the Footy Fellas. We have more content like this on our YouTube page. We also have socials where we also welcome your presence, as you are a part of our community and a part of our life. I also want to update everybody here. It is the 12th minute going into the 13th minute, and it's still 0-0. Go USA.
Go USA. There's more. I'm excited for this World Cup qualifying run because maybe it's just that we're more in tune with it and more interested, more invested, but it feels like there's more general knowledge that it's happening, which,
right.
Again, you could tell me that's just me. That's just us because we're watching it and talking about it, and I'd believe you. I'd say like, all right, shrink back. But it seems like there's more than last time when obviously the U.S. choked. It was very difficult, lost on that final day game. And then when it came to the, oh my God, dangerous ball there for Panama. Dangerous chance.
That was
lucky for the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does seem, just to finish my point, it seems like there's more energy, more awareness of it this time, which is a lot more than can be said for the 2018 World Cup when it rolled around and everyone was like, why isn't the U.S. playing in the World Cup? People are actually following the qualifiers, which is cool.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know, it comes with the wave of talent that we have. It comes with not having us make the World Cup. Suddenly it makes you appreciate how important it is to be a part of it and the road that it takes to get there. I think the U.S. winning the World Cup nomination, co-hosting with Canada and Mexico in the future for 2026.
Heck yeah.
Also is a big contributing factor. And I think everyone in the chat agrees too. And let us know if you disagree. I think just having Footy Fellas kind of talk about it a lot has really tapped into the zeitgeist and has inserted a new form of discourse, and that's heavy soccer content.
The nation more alive because of us, true heroes.
Yeah, also with the international presence of a lot of our players adds to the news stream, all the media out there. Because now there's commentators talking about how certain Americans have to go play qualifying matches like most other players on these international teams. And so it's just part of the routine, part of the norm.
It's a great point. Just the stream of news coming out of U.S. related soccer is so increased because these players are all playing abroad. And so even just the number of transfers, ooh, nice ball from Matt Turner, trusting his midfielders there.
Yeah.
Just the amount of news articles coming out each time a new young star with a lot of potential that happens to be American transfers to Europe, 100% I see it just like raises the level of excitement for the game here.
Am I the only one that thinks like Areola looks like Jorginho right now? Number 7.
Because he's got the blonde hair.
He's got this blonde hair.
Interesting.
I get a lot of Jorginho vibes. Shout out to the Italian team who they won. Or they got 3rd place today in the Nations League.
Might have to pull up a little side by side. Oh, it's going to be tough, though, because Paul Areola doesn't have blonde hair in his online shots. I was going to pull up a headshot comparison.
That's the kicker.
Great question here from Coolio, dude. I actually love this one. We haven't talked about this as a group. What do you guys think? Can Pepe and Pulisic combine? Can they coexist?
I think they have to. I don't think we have a choice. I think we need them. Ultimately, all that matters, end of the day, is having a true number 9. The U.S. hasn't had a proper number 9 in a while. You could argue that Dempsey was that clinical finisher for a little bit. You could argue that Davies, back when we had Charlie Davies, was a dynamic presence. We've had other guys who've been in and out, but I don't know if we've had a guy at this young of an age show that he is such a natural finisher. As Ricardo Pepe, that he's a guy that I imagine if you put him in the box, if he's in the 6-yard box and he is near a ball, that's all we need. Pulisic, all he needs to do is throw the ball in the box and he will put it in. I think they can absolutely coexist. They don't cannibalize each other. They're not in the same spaces. I think it's guys like Gio Reyna and Pulisic. Like, can they work on the same field together? That's probably another compelling question. or Brendan Aronson, another guy, a new starlet who's really starting to show his colors on this team. But ultimately, I don't think we need to worry about Pepe and Pulisic working together. I think we need to figure out how this midfield or these wide wingers, how do you balance having players like Timothy Weah, Pulisic, Aronson, who else am I missing?
Areola's been playing out wide.
How do you balance that depth and talent of out wide players and put them in such a way that they're actually working? And oh no, oh my God,
goal line clearance for the U.S. Just hanging on so far versus Panama, looking a little shaky.
Business, yeah. Yeah, Jones, I agree with everything you said. I would say that Pulisic and Pepe as a combo are more complementary players, if anything. Pulisic, as we know, is much more of a dribbler. That's his strength. He'll take players on, especially in the attacking third, and get it in. And he's known he can get the ball into good places for Pepe, who will be in the box likely and either get a head on it or just get a foot. And as you mentioned, he's a clinical finisher, which I'm not used to from a U.S. national team perspective. So it's fun. It's fun to have. And I think they'll do really well together.
Now, do you think, Icy, on the topic of Pulisic specifically, do you think he will struggle to get time at Chelsea this year? Do you think that he is in danger of keeping that, one of the best young players in the world status because simply he just won't get enough time at Chelsea and that'll impact his playing ability on the U.S. in some way?
I do think he will not get nearly as much time as he did in previous seasons on Chelsea. His injuries have been really a big problem for him. Thomas Tuchel played him in the first match of the season at Chelsea, and he did score a goal, which is great. But I don't think since then he's gotten any playing time. A lot of that has to do with injuries. And particularly on that team, there's a lot of players competing for that in the position that he plays. And so I don't see him starting many games this season, if really any, to wrap up the Chelsea season, which is still early, but granted, no injuries come up. But yeah, no, it's not good for Pulisic at this point in time for playing time. He should be injury free, so I'm actually kind of surprised he's not playing tonight. I'm not sure what the word is.
He was last seen, if I'm not mistaken, at a Jets game today.
In London, in London, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Clearly prioritizing the real football.
He would be the perfect ambassador for soccer in London because he's an American boy, Pennsylvania, didn't play American football, I'm sure. He'd actually get killed playing American football given his stature, but obviously probably a Phillies fan, probably an Eagles fan, probably that because everyone's crazy about football there. Probably an Eagles fan. He's a soccer player. He's in London. Perfect crossover, perfect ambassador for American football in London if they were looking for someone to put some promo material together.
I think the photo ops of Pulisic and football players would be just enjoyable in and of itself, just to see how diminutive, how small American football players look next to robust human beings like Christian Pulisic. Even Roger Goodell would probably be dwarfed by Pulisic's ego. But as we talk about guys like Pulisic, we're talking about the future of the U.S. men's national team. And I'm really excited about a lot of players. I'm really excited about guys. I'm sure you have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Guys you're excited about too.
Which player are you most excited for, though? That's the question we're posing to you, all of our FOFs, everyone here in the chat, everyone here hanging out for the US-Panama game. Which U.S. youngster are you most excited for their future? Drop it in chat. I'm curious to see what the assortment of youngsters will be. You've got the more popular ones. Yep. We were just talking about Christian.
Yep.
We were just talking about Gio, Pepe, Tyler Adams. Those are maybe the Weston McKennie. That's like the class A. We could do a ratings of popularity. But I'm curious to see if we get any off the beaten path ones, any interesting youngsters like Josh Sargent, perhaps. Is he going to be the best player that the U.S. has ever had? Maybe. We don't know. We've yet to see what he can do at Norwich. Maybe he helps them stay up this year. and he scores 10 games straight or something.
Yep.
Hard to tell.
Wait, what if he broke Vardy's record? What if he broke the scoring, like consecutive game scoring streak? I think that's the headline, for the season. If Sargent does that,
yeah,
he doesn't even have to. I think at that point, he probably, I don't know, France is probably calling him up for the national team at that point. That's really what happens when you rise to the top. As a reminder too, if you're joining this chat, we're the Footy Fellas. Please subscribe, follow for more content. We're digging through this question: which U.S. youngster are you most excited about for the future? Icy, is there a youngster that you are just itching to see on the pitch as much as possible these days?
I gotta go with an A-lister. I'm super excited about him. You guys know who he is, Ricardo Pepe. I mean, he scores goals. He has been the player in my mind to keep us relevant so far in these qualifying matches. Now, for everyone on the call, we're going to play all 7 other teams twice, so 14 matches. This is only going to be match 6. So a lot of games left, match 5. That's today. A lot of matches, but Pepe has kept us in it. He's helped win us games, and if we weren't going to be winning these games, it'd be a big hole to climb. We don't want to miss a second World Cup. But on a quick note, I think the first American player to get pulled by Newcastle United, they're the next star. Okay, if Pepe really wants to be a star, he's going to get pulled by Newcastle.
You think he's top of Newcastle's list? It's like Martial. What a chance for the U.S. Sorry, I see. Yeah, keep going. Van de Beek. Who else? Including Pepe.
Lingard.
Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe. The Newcastle team will be a complete overhaul that we're excited for. That's for sure. Because we've been Newcastle fans our whole life.
All right, Mr. Man City fan.
This is a Newcastle pod actually. Now we should put out a full episode as though we're a Newcastle pod.
As quick deviation from the game, but the Newcastle news is just fun and it's interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to the rebuild of this club.
Yeah, no, and hopefully they can pull in player. Oh my goodness! Hopefully, we just if you're keeping score at home, it's the 25th-ish minute, and we just headed the ball back to our goalie, but it wasn't really. We kind of trickled it. I was going to say for a youngster that I am most excited about, Yunus Munsa, and I definitely probably butchered the first name. But the British player who recently decided to represent the U.S. national team, he's been incredible, popping out for Valencia in Spain over the past year or so. And in this game, I've already seen him take a couple touches in the center midfield that have been really, really special, slicing and dicing through there. An impact that we don't really have at the moment, aside from players like Weston McKennie. And that's from like a box-to-box midfield perspective. Oh, here's that header. Wow.
Beautiful header back from McKenzie there. Yeah. Brendan Aronson. We've got a shout for Brendan Aronson in the chat from Jonah, who we were talking about at the start of this game. He's one of the notable absences as Berhalter works to keep his squad rested, as they've got 3 games here in 8 days, this being the second. So Aronson's not playing tonight, but he's very exciting. And he's been good for Salzburg.
Yep.
Does he play for not RB Salzburg, just... Is it RB Salzburg? They have that and Leipzig? No. Is it Red Bull Salzburg and Red Bull Leipzig? Yeah. He's been good for Salzburg and for the U.S. team. So he certainly looks promising. Could be in it for the long run.
His brother Paxton scored a header last night for the Philadelphia Union. Younger. If we can get a whole Aronson, if we can honestly get a front 5 of Aronsons, I would feel very good about our future.
So Paxton plays, he gets called up maybe 2 years from now. Brendan is in his prime, kind of playing the Michael Bradley role. He's been on the team for 10 to 12 years.
Yep.
They have kids. Their significant others have kids. The kids get called up. Okay. They're playing on the U.S. national team at like 8 and 10, because at that point, soccer is so popular in the U.S. and we're starting our character development is so strong that we continue to have players start younger and younger. That's how you get the top 5.
Yes.
Front 5 of Aronsons.
There we go.
That's the way to do it.
That's smart.
Much love to Talking to Woods. Big Timbers Timbers account, talk, banter. Check them out on Instagram at the very least. You can plug. Please feel free to plug if you have other channels as well. We just know you're killing it on Instagram. So shout out to Talking to Woods. Appreciate the love. South Jersey's finest. Is that where Aaronson's from? I didn't know that.
You know, he's American, so I can confirm that he is from the U.S. and the East Coast specifically. He also is bipedal, which means that he actually walks on 2 feet. And
and he's from Medford, New Jersey.
And he's from Jersey.
And those are the only things we know about Brendan Aronson.
This is right now the 3rd Panama corner in a row. The first 2 have been very scary and on frame, actually. So this is a bit of a... Okay, there we go. The USA cleared it. Thank you.
The Medford Messi. That's hilarious. Guy, I wonder if give us more info. Give us more, if you've been around the team, if you've been around that area, if that's where you're from, and that's where that's how people talk about him. We want the inside scoop. Like, how did Aronson get so good? Was he a stud since 8? Did everyone know about him, or he's just become Messi more recently?
We're assuming you know everything about him, and whatever you tell us is probably true. I will say earlier today, Grant Wall, a notable sports writer on most things soccer, was called out for not knowing that Pulisic was a Jets fan, and he felt very bad. But he also said, "How am I supposed to know that he's a Jets fan?"
Who would be a Jets fan at this day and age?
Great point. That brings us to our next point.
We're going to be talking Jets Falcons. Hopefully, everyone saw the game this morning. We're going to be breaking down Jets Falcons at half. And why Pulisic could sub in at wide receiver 3 for the Jets, and the Jets would be better because they've stunk this year. They stunk.
Pulisic to the Jets? Did Fabrizio just say, "Here I just got a notification. He's going to the Jets." Okay, so anyway, back to Aronson. We can confirm he came from the Philly Union. Again, Guy, you could say whatever and we will read it. He came through the Philly Union. That checks out. That is actually legit. I will say, as a real departure, real quick, if you're watching us, we are watching the Panama USA game. We cannot stream it, so just believe in what we're saying. It's the truth. The USA is up 7-0. So they're not 0-0. It's the 29th, 30th minute. Union, they have some dope jerseys. I'm going to show them later. We'll talk about it later, but they have some dope jerseys. Look them up while you're sitting there. Pulisic next Jets kicker.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all.
I don't know if he's got the torque. I feel like you got to be a big boy to do that.
He could be. He might have enough whip in his leg, though. Have we seen any notable professional soccer players become NFL kickers? I know there's been some past rugby players or past, what's it called in Europe? Like something soccer, something ball. I don't know. Some other game that we don't have here in the States. I know some of those former professional players have become NFL kickers, but I don't know about any primarily soccer players.
Tony, is that Tony Miola? Is that what we're saying? Try that with the Jets, maybe. So
interesting.
So, I think that's actually a great question. We could maybe have
get our stat guy on that one.
Just like a roundtable right now, because I have 2 questions for you guys. One, okay, so it was Tony Miola. So my question for this chat is, of current U.S. players, so if we're keeping it relevant to this team, who do we think would be the best field goal kicker? As we see an in-swinging free kick that Turner easily gobbles up. Who do you guys think, Icy? Who do you think would be the best free kick ticker? Do you think it's a goalkeeper?
I would say it's a keeper.
Okay.
Personally, I think also, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the physics of it. If the height, because goalkeepers generally are taller players, if that will help them get that football high enough and far enough to make it. I'm confidently going to say goalkeeper. In my opinion.
Confidently, wow.
Except for Pickford. Pickford sucks at everything, and he's a horrible person, a horrible goalkeeper. So,
coming from a Pool fan, I will go. I'll go with Matthew Hoppe. I don't know why. He's got good field goal kicker energy. Like, I would just trust him. Yeah, Daryl DK. That's actually an amazing shout. He would be an intimidating field goal kicker, especially if he did kickoffs. I feel like he would kick off and the team would just kind of spread and he would be like thundering through to make the tackle on his own kickoff. Like he would get there before anyone, and he would just level kick returners.
He purposely kick it short to get them to run it.
Yeah, be like, no, come on. And they won't even pick it up, and he would just recover everything. It'd be an onside kick.
I wonder if DK genuinely, I wonder if he'd actually look small. I imagine he might look decently small. Like even Altidore. I feel like Josie also, like if I'm thinking of like big athletic, strikers that we've had on our teams. Pale in comparison to football players. There are some beefy, okay? There are some beefy kickers. I'm not saying they're all beefy. Some are vegetarian, but there are some pretty beefy kickers out there. And I think our soccer players just aren't, our footy players aren't as beefy. I'm gonna put my money. I'm saying Matt Turner or Ethan Hovarth are going to be my picks because they've been so clutch, and you need a kicker to be clutch, and that's all that really matters here.
As a Vikings fan, that's 100% true.
Yeah, I see as the final word, the final say on field goal kickers. Oh, we've got a dangerous attack here for Panama on the 34th. No. Oh, come on, Matt.
What a save.
Come on.
Dang, you guys are like
headphones,
you guys are like
headphone
10
order.
seconds ahead.
Oh, we're 10 seconds ahead? Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Oh, what a save. Oh, my gosh. That was, dude, 17. Okay, 17 on Panama. I don't have his name at the moment. He has been all over the place. Mostly he's just been on the turf getting knocked down. But
Gondola,
17 on Panama. Gondola.
I think he's been knocked down by Moore, number 5 on our side. Maybe already 5 times this game. He just falls down a lot.
Dude, Matt Turner. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, nice little battle there. I'm noticing between Moore and number 17.
It's so interesting that Matt Turner, just off the back of that great one-on-one save, pretty much, he has just solidified himself as QB1, as GK1 for the U.S. men's national team. And this isn't, this hasn't been going on for years. It was like the Gold Cup performance, or was Horvath the Nations League? It was one of the two.
Horvath was Nations League, then it was Gold Cup Turner.
Yeah, Gold Cup Turner. He crushed it, played out of his mind, amazing saves, and he's been playing great this year for the Revolution. But since then, there's just like no question, even over Stefan, who's playing. I mean, he's playing for Man City. He doesn't start every game, obviously, but it's crazy that out of nowhere, Matt Turner is all of a sudden the undisputed heavyweight champion, if you will.
Eli, was that you who was telling me, and it might have been about this goalkeeper that you were saying about our new goalkeeper who come onto the scene kind of out of nowhere, and it's stat driven. There were some stats that's like this goalie actually is better than a lot of the big name goalies. No one's ever heard of him, but he low key gets a lot of like critical stats.
Yeah, it might have been him.
It might have
US with a chance there, ruined by offsides. It might have been him. That sounds
right.
Vaguely familiar. I'm trying to remember what the stats were, what spoke to him, but there was an article about it. It might have been The Athletic, now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, and he was just very much onside. I know, right? I think it was Turner. I think if you recall, it was Turner. He just kind of, his stats popped. He wasn't a specimen in any capacity, and he's kind of blossomed later on in his career.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I think that one stat's coming back to me is like he closes down players super effectively. Like there's something where like if he's more one-on-one, he just reads it very well and can play off the goal line super well.
I just looked up like that. I looked up Matt Turner online, as one does, to pick up some more info. I'm just curious about his career too, how long he's been around. And for some reason up top it says senior, and it feels like a college team profile that he's a 4-year senior, but it's obviously not that. So I don't even know what it is. He's only played since 2018. Like this is his 4th year really playing games. He was on the Revs for 2 years before that, but he's still pretty young keeper. He's mid-20s, so he's got plenty of time left in him, which is pretty exciting.
Yep. That's great. I feel like you don't hear too much about. Well, yeah, I guess in the goalkeeper realm, it's like if you get put in for a game because of some injuries or whatever and you perform, It's gonna
Yeah.
shoot you up.
Very true.
I have to say for folks who are with us and either watching or listening to us, besides that header off the corner.
Can you hear us, Icy? Quick
Yeah.
mic check.
Yeah. The first 10 minutes, we haven't had anything on net.
We can't hear you. Sorry, something just freaked out on us.
No, you're all good.
All right, we're back.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, nice.
The U.S. builds great keepers, says Talk in the Woods. Yeah, the U.S. Well, they've gotten better. I mean, I guess to be fair, Tim Howard, we've only had 2 keepers that have ever played for the U.S. It's Guzan and Howard for the last 10 years. It feels like.
You got Brad Friedel. You've got Casey Keller.
Johnson. Not Eddie Johnson. I was thinking of the DC United keeper. Sorry, keep going.
DC United.
Why did he take so long?
8 years ago.
Not Nick Raimondo.
No, that's true. Casey Keller.
Yeah, just that bald contingency we had in the Premier League of Guzan, Howard, Friedel, Keller.
That feels like a documentary. The bald keeper, or the ball. It's like some play on bald eagle.
You can't say bald. Oh,
some play on bald eagle, and it's a documentary about how the U.S. keeper has evolved or taken over the world stage.
Panama's pressing us at the moment. Just background. Let's continue this bald conversation. This is great, but Panama's pressing a little bit. U.S. not looking threatening. 0-0 entering the 39th minute.
Another 0-0 or at least a no goal first half. It's going to look like for the men's national team. This is a stat that is alarming, and we'll continue to track it. But I really do think if this game goes 0-0 at the half where we don't score, that's 12 straight. I think if I remember.
Where the U.S. haven't scored in the first half.
Yeah.
Hey, defense, if we hold, a draw today, of course, we'd want to see a win. It's not that Panama are middle of the Concacaf table, so not super disappointing. It depends on how the U.S. play ultimately. But if their defense can hold them to a shutout, it can't be too mad.
I think another thing that that you can say is maybe symptomatic, is a result of or produces this result of not scoring early is a team that's not fully cohesive. If you don't have a team that really knows its identity, knows what it's doing, it's hard to start off on the right foot, an offensive foot. And it's also potentially reflective of just playing a lot of tough teams in a cagey match. But perhaps that's what we're also seeing. Slow starts are very much due to these guys being young, not having a lot of experience with one another and still figuring it out. It could be that, we're not on the field. I think everyone in the chat is thinking the same thing. Wow. Really wish that they had Icy and Eli and Jones flying through the pitch.
I thought you meant about them. Everyone sitting at home right now thinks, wow, if I was out there on the pitch, we'd at least have one.
Well, fair.
That's only what Jets fans think. That's
it's just the Jets fans syndrome, not U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
Jamaica hanging in there with Canada.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, 0-0 there too. So that's good.
Interesting. It's a tight window for all these teams. You said earlier, I see there's so many games. I'll pull up the table one more time, just so everyone can take a look together. But there's so many games. This is the 5th game in to what is it 14 or 7? Yeah, 14 game playoff.
14,
so
yeah.
It's so early.
Yeah, it's it's just crazy. It really is crazy how much soccer the top professional soccer players really do play. If you're in the Prem or any of those domestic European leagues, you're playing 30 plus for sure in these leagues games. And now you've got 14 international games. This is why you see Berhalter and other managers changing up their lineups, I feel like, so much. It's just so much wear and tear on these legs.
It's massive. I forget who mentioned earlier the U.S. squad depth. I think it was Guy in the chat. It's just massive that we have now 21 guys where you can start this team and think we should be winning these games. Because when you have 3 games in 8 days, especially for that middle game, you're going to get you need 70 good minutes out of the reserves at almost every position. So we'll see. We'll see if the U.S. can either get a point if the score stays the same, or if they can actually score a goal today against Panama.
I think something to notice about this U.S. team, again, we're watching here, we're not able to stream it live on our channel, is the U.S. has kind of their line of confrontation is a little deeper. They're sitting a little deeper. It looks like Giassi Zardes is kind of hovering around, like literally right at midfield, a little under midfield. So we're allowing Panama to hold the ball and bring it forward. We're not pressing too high. So that could be a first half strategy. It could be similar to what we saw against Honduras, where in the first half, the U.S., if anything, the U.S. was losing in the first half and was playing a lot more defensive and cagey. Second half, made a couple subs, became offensive, and Honduras became sloppy. They were worn down, and the U.S. could pull away. So this could be a war of attrition tactic. This could be intentionally allowing Panama to come forward, though I think that's hard to feel at the moment. But you can see right now just where Zardes is hanging out right at half field as opposed to a little further out. We're entering the 44th minute, so the first half is wrapping up soon. But
it's a great point.
Possession.
Line of confrontation, sitting as deep as it is. That's one of the things that is a very conscious decision from a manager, and tactically, that's one of the few things you can really control, because there's obviously two teams playing this game. But where you decide to step up defensively and where you want to direct the ball. You know, the U.S. is forcing them out wide. They're letting them run at their outside backs, who they must feel confident in, but they're letting them force it out wide. Winger is pressing, like Ariel is pressing when that Panama left back gets it there. Midfield is shifting. So we look good defensively. Like our shape, at least there's a plan. You can argue whether it's the right plan, whether we should be sitting back that much, but at least there's a plan in place, which hasn't always been the case. So we'll see how this pans out for them.
Panama's out for them.
How this Panama's out. Panama, dun, 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 Panama is out for them. It's actually going to be a live show at halftime. I forget who plays that song. Boston? No.
Could be us.
You're going to get a live musical show, non-copyright at halftime.
Oh boy. Yeah, shoot it. Oh boy. Panama's pressing. They're in the US's 18. There's a shot on target.
Ooh!
What a save.
We won't ruin anything, though. Who knows what'll happen with this shot?
It could go in. It could go in.
Yeah.
You get there yet?
A save.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy save.
Great shot.
Lefty curler. Matt Turner, he's shaking his head. He says, no, not today. Not today, Panama. That is not what we're going to do.
Well, that was an amazing save. I think Turner's already had 2-3 critical saves. That was unreal.
He's been great. He's just been so solid. Oh, another nice clearance. Yeah, Panama just chance after chance, mostly from corners, balls whipped in. But the U.S. are holding strong. They can make it to half. I think the guys they will bring in off the bench who played last game, like a Pepe off the bench, or who else? We were looking at this chart earlier. Tyler Adams doesn't make as much sense, but I think bring in Pepe, man. If they bring in Pepe in the second half and he scores again, best U.S. striker ever already.
All right, that's halftime. U.S. Panama 0-0, 45 minutes in. It's possession's been favoring Panama definitely a little bit. We'll have a look at some stats in a moment. But we're at half, boys. We've made it through.
It is.
How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good about the game so far. Yeah, go ahead, Ice.
Guys, I'm feeling decent. You know, Turner is really, really putting the work to save us at the end there, especially. So, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I don't know. It's closer than I want it to be.
Yeah, they're definitely not dominating like they were against Jamaica. Makes sense. Jamaica is not this caliber of team that Panama is, although they are holding Canada to a draw right now, so that's exciting. But it's just great. It's just great to be watching World Cup qualifying, knowing that the U.S. should make it and could actually do something there. And we're 4 games in, so plenty more World Cup qualifying soccer to play. Let's take a look at the stats after this this quick official message from the Concacaf qualifiers 2022.
Never gets old.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We haven't gotten a chance to sound our goal alarm yet, so had to work that one in there. Let's take a look at the stats from the first half. You know, watching the game, we can provide some extra commentary than just the numbers will give. But nice to take a look at the stats. Not that many chances. Not that many chances so far. What do you think, Icy, of these number of shots? Is it disappointing to you?
It is, because we got off on a strong foot. We were up on the right foot. And we got, I guess I thought we had one on target technically, but maybe it was just going over the bar, but the goalie saved it. But yeah, I mean, 3 shots is not enough. 42% possession. We could do better than that. I felt like it was more even possession, but it was just sloppy at some points in the midfield, and Panama got in good positions due to our turnovers. So,
yep. Well, good news: 0 yellow cards for both teams. Hate to see a dirty game out there. So the fact that it's been a real clean contest is nice to see, Jim.
Sportsmanship award. You know, if the U.S. doesn't qualify, let me pose a scenario to you. I'm posing it to the chat too. If the U.S. doesn't qualify for the World Cup, but they do win the sportsmanship award for the qualifiers, the CONCACAF one in particular, that is, was it worth it?
Yes.
Okay. That was a silly question.
That was a silly question.
For everyone on the stream, Jones has won the sportsmanship award, a record. Are you at 10 now? Is it all the fingers on?
Look, I wouldn't flex that knowledge because that would be counterintuitive to winning the sportsmanship award. So I'm not going to say that I've won at 12, but I could if I were that type of guy, but I'm not.
Thank you.
What else? We want to hear about what else in the soccer world, assuming people are in general footy fans here. What else has been on your radar? What is everyone watching? Are there certain leagues or, certain leagues, favorite teams, things like that all around the world? Because we know we have a good contingent here, folks from all around the world. Now that we are at halftime, 0-0, U.S. versus Panama. What else are folks watching? Take a look at Europe World Cup qualifying tables as well, because there's a lot been going on there. But
there's also been, I don't know if you guys were keeping up with the UEFA Nations League championships today. Icy had mentioned at the beginning of our official broadcast. Yes, this is being streamed all over the world. That there was a game between Belgium and Italy, and then also a game against France and España. I think there were some results. I don't want to put any spoilers out there because I know some of you guys might be recording these to watch later. But I will say, Viva la France! Mbappe and Benzema, just doing what they do. They just bring home their goals.
Yeah, France has got to be the favorite heading into the 2022 World Cup, regardless of what happens from now until then, unless they somehow half their team changes nationalities.
Yeah.
France will be the favorite once again. But Belgium, Spain, Italy, after their Euros performance.
Yeah, Italy's definitely up there. Can't rule them out.
Far from it. It sounds like Benjamin Ortega, though, would like to rule out Bello, Leggett, and Acosta. I think those are some, I think we got to examine that player by player a little bit. I feel like Acosta is the one guy of that pairing, of that trio, that I feel like has actually proved himself the most valuable on this team. Maybe today doesn't make the most sense for him. I haven't been watching him as closely, But Kellen Acosta, if anything, he's a little bit more of a veteran on this team, surprisingly. And he's very young. He's relatively like 26, maybe 27. Defensive mid, hardworking player. I believe he was in the news recently for some comments that he had made about just, how confident this team is and how he's kind of feeling. But Acosta is one guy that I really do believe as being an impact player on this team. Sebastian Lletget and George Bello. Not as familiar with them. Do you guys agree with the Acosta take? Do you feel like some of the other guys are perhaps less valuable than he is?
I mean, it's fair. Is he garbage? I don't know if I'd go that far. Do they have better players in that position? Absolutely. Would Tyler Adams be starting if this was a huge game for them and they didn't play on Wednesday of this past week? Yes. Either him or McKinney, would probably play that role a bit better and would be the first option, to be honest. So he's been playing okay. Yeah, I got to take a closer look at Acosta in the second half here. But Lletget's been fine. Same thing. There's just so many exciting young players that are there guys that would start over Lletget? Probably. But I don't know. Bello, he's still young, right? Might take some time.
He's young. I think he's exciting. I think he's a guy that you give time to. And he's not going to learn. He's not going to learn if he's not playing in games like these. That said, I'm not one to advocate for, hey, let's just put our youth out there to learn and grow. We need to win these games. So if they're not performing, then, to Icy's point, what you said at the beginning of the game, he's watching Berhalter. Is Berhalter going to make the right choices and put the right players in the right positions against the right opponents? Because he's a lefty, and I just said right a bunch of times. Icy, between Bello, Lletget, and Acosta, do you have any takes on who you think is playing well, even aside from those guys? Any guys in the field that you're a little worried about?
Well, the battle with Moore and number 17 on Panama has really caught my eye, mostly because number 17 always ends up on the ground, and Moore isn't doing that much to knock him down, but it just is. It is what it is. A little battle there, which I actually would argue that the Panamanian is slightly winning, and Turner had a big save on him. So. But I was going to say, this game, this lineup feels like maybe a B team lineup is somewhat for sure. And that's okay to play a B team lineup. Like you said, Jones, as long as we win, as long as we get the result. Look, it doesn't, Pep Guardiola plays, switches up the lineup all the time. He used to do it, but they still win. So it's all about, managers making these decisions, but they gotta work. I mean, at the end of the day, the result matters.
100%. Yeah, result matters. And it's crazy to think that even that game against Jamaica, where we looked pretty dominant, again, yes, Jamaica, not the most solid team, but we're doing it all without Pulisic, without Reina. And so to think about them fitting back in this squad is pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. It's still daunting because we've shown that just having them back there isn't enough. Like that's, it's important that the team finds a way to work cohesively, still reflects their, the mentality, the unison that Berhalter is talking about in the media, but obviously more talent out there doesn't hurt. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see about that.
Highly recommend for everyone here watching and listening to us to check out the Spain-France highlights in this Nations League final. Very worthwhile.
Very worthwhile.
Very worthwhile.
Because they're comparable. I think if you're watching France, you're watching a team that emulates, their play off of the U.S. If not, absolutely Panama.
Yeah. So it's also spooky season coming up, and I don't know if that includes your cam, Icy, but it started getting a little spooky on us, just flickering a bit. So you might want to flip it on and off, perhaps.
Yes.
Although it's cool effects for a rave. If we were DJing a rave right now, this would be pretty sick.
We just didn't put up like an epilepsy warning.
Yes.
Prior to sharing.
Whoa. There we are. I guess it's I just have Eli too. I didn't even. Geez, that's my bad.
Am I still getting a little wonky?
It is a little bit. Does it look bad on your end?
It does. You kind of have like the zebra stripes.
Yeah. It started recently too. Yeah. It wasn't.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Maybe if you turn off the lights in your room completely and you're just there in the dark, it won't be noticeable.
All right, I'll do that.
That's the move.
Let's see what. Actually, here we go.
But yeah,
Nope.
everyone, freaking Halloween. We got soccer. It's October.
Mm-hmm.
It's still weirdly warm here in the Midwest, which is kind of concerning. But we've been getting through it by just watching some soccer, hanging out, doing outdoor stuff.
Drinking some apple cider.
Ooh.
If you're
is.
watching this, I hope you have a little cider because we all deserve a little cider in our lives. Whether it's spiked or not, that's up to you, Doc. But it's if you're underage, please don't. Absolutely do not. But apple cider, good apple cider, tastes crisp and keeps
You're a
you.
cider guy.
You gotta love it. Fun fact: Jenny Chu, one of the commentators here, met one of our college friends. Shout out to Lalo, who had met her out on the West Coast not too long ago. She's an incredible reporter. I feel like the reporters that we have, just the whole commentary team for Paramount Plus. If you don't follow Paramount Plus, or you're not monitoring,
Subscribe.
Thank you to Paramount Plus. One, do us a favor and think about it. Consider subscribing to Paramount Plus. It costs a little bit.
Why are we promoting Paramount Plus?
But hear me out. You know what's free? It's free and has great commentary?
Okay.
Footy Fellas, all right? Do yourself a favor, follow, like, comment, subscribe, follow, and then subscribe and like in that order, and that will unlock some free gear from us. Maybe.
See what you did there?
Mhm.
It is a good crew. The Paramount Plus crew got Charlie Davies, Dempsey, Abdo, the other guy.
Gucci Onyewu.
Thank you. But there a lot of these broadcasting teams have been bringing in former players more and more, which makes sense. It's a natural jump. And maybe it's just guys we know now that are playing versus the previous generation. We weren't watching as much growing up, so it just happens to be people we know that are in the booth now. But it is interesting. Been watching that more and more.
Yes, it definitely feels like we're able to notice that transition. I'm a little mixed on who am I mixed on? I think Gooch and Clint Dempsey both have some stuff they need to work out. They're not as poised as some others. Maurice Edu, I think, does a great job.
What about Tim Howard? What's the jury out on Tim Howard as a commentator for NBC Sports? What do you guys think?
I don't know if I've seen enough of him yet, but I think he's fine. He's definitely gotten better, right? Because he's that halftime Premier League stuff. Yeah, he's gotten better. When he first started, it was rough. I was like, Timmy boy, you got to get it figured out because they're about to cut you. Rebecca Lowe does not mess around.
True. Preach. Tim Howard,
he's gotten better is really the story there. Most improved player. I think at the get-go, he was definitely a little out of his depth. But in time, you started to realize what he was lacking in some of his punchier commentary and quicker, snappier thoughts. He's making up for with this measured, intentional approach that he isn't just rushing thoughts out, but he's a little bit more considerate of what he's saying. And in turn, you get better commentary. So he's working on that. It's getting better. And I'm hoping that we can see more from him in the future.
Yeah, it's a hard job. I mean, it's tough. Like, people make it look easy, you get better over time, but just always talking or being the one to voice over highlights where you're trying to match along, sound smart, but you're basically just ad-libbing it and kind of audibling as you go. It's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely not. I can't tell if he's actually gotten better content-wise or if it's because he's given himself a little English accent when he's in the commentator booth, which I do like. He's also not bald anymore, which is cool, so... Totally kidding. He's still bald. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
I have not watched that.
Using Rogaine. Man, we got Brian Urlacher ads all around Chicago for hair products. That's the next big push, the next big signing in the hair product world. Could be Tim Howard. That would be a big play for some company out there.
Speaking of hair lacquer, the Bears just hit a field goal with a minute left and look to be comfortably taking down the Raiders. So for all of our international football fans, go Bears.
You sound like as comfortable of a win as the Vikings had today. So kudos to them.
So we weren't kidding about Falcons-Jets. That's what we're going to get to now in the last 2 minutes. Official breakdown of the Falcons-Jets, 12 o'clock, London start. Ooh, look at this. Aronson on at half. Who did
Crowd, Panamanian crowd going wild.
going nuts for Aronson. The pride of South Jersey, as we were saying earlier. The Medford Messi, as we were calling him.
The Medford Messi. I love it.
Very excited to see Aronson out there. I think he was the only change at half for the U.S. Any other changes? Let's see. I think it was just Aronson. Yeah, Panama definitely looked more dangerous. So the U.S. in the second half has to come out better. See if they can improve their play.
I was just thinking of other names. Like if he had a nickname here, if he was playing in Panama, like, the Panamanian, he needs a P in his name. Doesn't really have that. His brother, though, Paxton does. So his brother could be, in the future, if he plays, this next iteration, next cycle of World Cup qualifiers, you get Paxton out here, has a great game, hits a hat trick in Panama City. He could be Paxton Panama City or Panama City Paxton or something like that.
He's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Kickoff just happened. Let's go. Is it noticeably much darker?
It is. It looks, yes. And is it? So here's my question to you guys: did it rain, or are those little patches from them watering the field?
I'm hoping it got watered, but it doesn't look rainy. So,
U.S.
now,
pressing.
Are they playing in a Squid Game, arena right now? I can't tell. I cannot tell.
I was wondering how long we'd get with it before the first Squid Game reference. It's very popular. I'm glad it's been brought up.
Oh man, it's fantastic. Actually, very sad episode. We'll stop talking about it now, but just came across a very sad episode.
That's just a great challenge. The other sub at half that we missed was Tyler Adams came on for Musa, I believe. Yeah. Oh, and Areola was the one to come off for Brendan Aronson. So that right side of the U.S.'s 4-3-3 has been strengthened, has gotten reinforcements in the second half. Everyone joining us. Big game for the U.S. against Panama here. This 5th World Cup qualifying game. 0-0 right now. Second half has just started. Thanks for joining us. We're just hanging out, talking about the game, talking about life. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing some more live streams in the future, and we appreciate it. And it's free and easy and takes one click. So you could feel nice. You could feel like a nice person for a couple minutes,
Yeah. Everyone likes to feel like that, right?
Right?
Please.
The U.S. are going to win this game 4-0.
It's happening right now. There have been a couple shots of the Panamanian coach. Guys, I think he looks dapper. I think he's a dapper-looking gentleman. He's got some nice stubble. Looks like a nice, earnest, honest guy. I've never seen a double drop ball before. That
was interesting.
Yeah, that was weird. I think that begs the next question, Jones.
Yeah.
Should managers be rocking suits? Should they look dapper for matches, or is Berhalter that sort of very low key, just sort of comfortable attire better?
Right.
Great question. Important question.
It is. And I mean, there's been a lot of studies on this. There's been a lot of research, empirical kind of evidence that would suggest if you wear a suit, you are going to ball out. Like, that's just facts. I believe is what Einstein said about that. He also
said, well, if you're going to quote him at the end, he said facts, no cap.
No cap
at the end.
No cap B. Dead ass, I believe, is technically, if we're pulling the full, it's a long quote. There's a lot of emojis he used in it. But I do think Berhalter, if he did rock a suit, would look, I believe the term is fuego flames. He would have that kind of like lanky kind of
tall guy suit.
Yeah. With like a thin tie, or this is actually a great question too. I mean, let's come back to this in a second. I'm curious, if they had a holiday party and they all were wearing ties, which one of them's rocking like a big goofy, Oscar the Grouch tie or something like that? Which player's wearing, the Tweety Bird stuff, or are they just, doing the little, U.S. give it away in the midfield?
Tough touch.
Yeah, it's just not.
Tweety Bird tie.
Tweety Bird.
You need some jokesters. You need some. Do we know who that is in the U.S. squad? I haven't seen any interviews where they talk about who the comedic is in the locker room.
McKinney,
You think it's
right?
McKinney?
I think it's
likes to
McKinney.
joke
Yeah,
around?
he seems like he's kind of a fun, happy spirit, little jokes here.
There's a great breakdown. We've talked about it before. I don't know if we've talked about it on a live stream, but there's a content, a social handle guy. I don't know what you call him, a content creator, analyst, Watke. I'll put his
Yeah.
He
On
did
Twitter.
he does like these fun breakdowns of U.S. men's national team players and kind of like their social life, like who are they, how do they interact on the field, purely based off of films that he's seen, clips of pulling snippets from sideline banter when they're talking and reading like way too in depth about how those players are interact with one another and what they feel about one another. And McKinney has been described via his videos as someone who just enjoys, helping the team, being supportive, a fun kind of guy. I agree with you, Icy. I think that McKinney could be that kind of. Can't be doing that, sir.
Well, and it quick turn too after the incident earlier in World Cup qualifying where it was McKinney, right?
Yep.
That brought an unauthorized visitor back to the team hotel. Was the press release?
You brought me.
It was Max.
My bad.
It was Max.
God.
So you can blame that one on him, but it's interesting because certain, quick things like that can change your place on the team. Ouch. That looked like it hurt.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt. For all you soccer players who are joining us right now, there's a nice little kick to the underside of a defender's cleat that doesn't feel good. A little sting.
Man, the follow through on a shot, hard to control. And of course, as a defender, you need to jump in there. You need to lunge in there and try and get in front of the ball. And as an attacker, you're going to swing through completely. But the follow up on a shot, the follow through is just brutal. Like that's how I hurt my toe pretty badly once, was just you follow through and you just follow through directly into someone's cleat and it just hurts so bad. Like they just have their cleat there. They barely feel it, but it's your individual toe going into their hard cleat and it hurts.
Right.
So those are tough.
I got a question for you guys.
What's your Halloween costume?
You guys ever hear of that canal in Panama?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's like there's a canal in Panama that
Are you referring to the sweat on Berhalter's chest as the Panama Canal? You guys see that pocket?
you're definitely gonna need a boat to get through that swamp, because man is sweatier than the team. It could be water. I'm sure that there's hit him. He won't.
Oh, Al, that's a nice
Such a big touch.
solid challenge.
What was he?
Sorry, but yes, the Panama Canal. You were saying
There's the Suez. Suez. You know what I'm talking
no,
about?
that's the one near Egypt.
Yeah, that's Egypt.
Oh. All right. Cool.
Do you know which one he's talking about in the chat? Which canal he's referring to? Throw it in the chat.
This is actually AP history, so we're getting started right now.
The U.S. have looked better already in the second half. 7 minutes in, they moved the ball, which they did sort of in the first half too. They seem more confident working the ball out of the back, and I don't know if it's that they trust. Well, I'm blanking. What's the keeper's name again?
Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal in net for the U.S. Why am I blanking so hard? We just talking about Matt Turner. I don't know if they trust Turner with his feet, either more so or just in general they've always trusted him. But I haven't noticed the U.S. playing out of the back this often in previous games. So this is interesting to see. It's anti-analytics, that's for sure, because if you lose the ball back there, all it takes is one bad slip up, one error, and they score, and you feel like an idiot. But sometimes you have beautiful team moves off of moving the ball out of the back. So
anti-analytics.
It's looking like the crowd is starting to really make a dent.
is Icy ahead of us?
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh god!
I actually, Panama scored for everyone on.
Somehow you got ahead of us. Panama has scored. We're gonna very reluctantly play this happy cutscene right here.
¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!
I think that might have been an own goal off Zardes.
That might have. That's a tough goal to give up. 54th minute off a corner. One of those just deflection headers that's kind of, it could have been the US, could have been Panama. We haven't seen a replay yet, but it's just knotted on by someone at the front post, and Turner had no chance. Just slipped through all the defenders, ended up in the back of the net. That's a tough one.
It's really hard to.
Ooh, it does look like a Zardes own goal.
US is down 0-1.
Woo!
Oh, Zob Zardes is so.
I'm allergic to losing, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I sneeze when we're down.
When we go down, that is a tough one.
You know,
That is a tough one.
Something that we haven't talked about enough, I would say, is that Panama has looked actually threatening on all their corners. I would argue they seem to really. It's
a numbers game at some point. Like they've had 8, I don't know how many corners have they had already in the 50-something minute.
5,
they've had
6.
Let's see.
Oh.
We've had 7 corners and we were just a little bit past halftime. So eventually they're going to score. That is a tough one though. That is a tough one for the US to give up. But we're down 1-0. Can we claw back? Can we find a goal somewhere? Either Aronson the substitute, Zardes up top, Weah. Can we pull one back and make this a game again?
Thank you for blessing me. Rocky does it all. Appreciate it, brother. And hey, may you also be blessed, and anyone else who follows Footy Fellas, actually, in fact, is also blessed.
Worthy of being blessed.
U.S. is losing 1-0 to Panama. They're in Panama City, Panama, near the Panama Canal. In case you were wondering, they are they're a little sweaty. It's a little humid down there. Free kick upcoming. Acosta over the ball. Is this a goal?
Is this his moment to prove Benjamin wrong? And fair earlier, fair comment about the first half, but this could be Acosta's moment to
this could be it.
Say something to the haters, basically. They don't really who is their free kick taker when it's
Pulisic?
Yeah, I guess it's him. They don't have any, free kick absolute specialist. They also don't have a Jorginho level PK taker who it's guaranteed going right to them if someone goes down in the box. Oh, all right. Took an effort at goal.
Yeah. Nice whip on it. Good pace. Just off to the left.
Did you ever, Icy, or would you ever take free kicks? Say you're playing rec soccer and your team wins a free kick. What percentage shot are you taking it?
-10%. I'm never taking it. Never.
Dang.
Nope. I was never the guy. I never have been good at free kicks. Yeah, not my forte. My brother, on the other hand, he was the guy.
He was big free kick taker?
Yeah. Big set piece, like all dead ball stuff.
It's a good feeling. And like to get that good, you have to work on it and practice a lot. There has to be a ton of time put into just like striking the ball and getting the right curl and power and all that stuff on it. So if your name is called to step up, you're known as the free kick taker on your team. There's a lot of respect there because you've probably put in the work behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
Jones might take some free kicks. He's taken some corners for our rec team.
There you go.
I've taken a couple. I've never. I've hit a couple goals in my day. I've hit a couple. I hit one in college. I've hit some rec league stuff. I'm not a specialty taker. I don't think of myself as a finisher. But I definitely like crossing it. I'm a big fan of crossing it. I'm a big assist guy. I know you guys are probably thinking the same thing. Like, does the U.S. men's national team need Max Jones? Probably not. Not this time.
I think everyone's also thinking about our connection where you gave me the assist back when we played Amherst, and we actually won the game because of that. So that's what people are really
I'm reading the chat. Everyone's saying it was the Williams game. It was
the Williams game.
Yeah. No, that was a big one for us against the JV team.
Your Panamanian winger came off, Icy. It was terrorizing Shaq Moore down the side. Gondola came off.
Okay. just then when Turner had the ball, does he not look like a tall Bruno Fernandes?
Similar facial hair.
They have the same face shape. It's an almond. It's an almond face shape.
I like that.
And they have all the facial hair.
Wow, they gave the goal to Annabelle Godoy. It really looked like an own goal of Stardust, or did I miss it on the replay?
I bet you they'll review that and maybe change it.
Well, good for him. Good for him. Good for Nashville. We are big Nashville SC fans. We've had Dan Lovitz, Nashville's left back, on the pod a couple of times. Really nice of him to chat with us a couple of times before this MLS season kicked off earlier this year and last year during the pandemic, during the MLS is back tournament. So that was pretty exciting for us. We're big Nashville fans, mostly because of that. Dan seems like a good guy. And they're crushing it this year.
They've had a great season. We got to get him back on the pod to talk about it.
It's a great point. Or maybe pull in some of his Nashville teammates. We shall see.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to qualify for the playoffs in a game or two.
Yeah, I got to look at the MLS bracket again when it comes to the playoffs, whether just the first two teams qualify without a bye. Like they might get byes through the first round, which is massive.
The first one.
The first team.
Yeah, so Nashville's too far behind New England.
Interesting. Grey Knight is looking for some more commentary instead of yakety yak yak yak, which is actually really fair feedback because we've just been saying yakety yak for the last half hour.
If you actually, Grey Knight, if you join us on Yik Yak, we can have some even more more banter there. You know what? No, let's do this. Let's do this for real. We'll do the next 2 minutes. Will be proper football commentary. Field goal.
Sir!
Field goal. No? Okay.
That actually looked like a PK. Thought he went. See, look at Berhalter's chest. He's
sweaty. Real sweaty.
Real sweaty. This is what the commentator should be
Sicily.
talking about.
It's just a little Sicily right on the chest.
It came that way. Yeah, it does look like a sort of a design thing. Maybe a fashion thing, perhaps. The shirt came that way.
No.
He went down sort of easy.
Yeah, he won't get that. So, at least for Grey Knight, that was across a corner kick coming in from Acosta and missed by every player.
Zimmerman went down, looked like a PK on first glance, but he did sort of sell it. So sometimes you got to go down. The U.S., a lot of chances to get in behind here.
Yes.
Just can't find the final ball. The final ball is lacking.
They're pressing. They're finding Aronson. Aronson's been popping up, making a nuisance of himself, finding the ball, being constructive. The game is really opening up. It's back and forth football. There's not a ton of midfield play. It seems one team possesses it, they run down, the other team kind of falls back and sits a little deeper. The refereeing, great question.
That is a great question.
It's what? Here's the quick answer. Non-factor. You're having a good referee game when you haven't noticed the ref. I don't think there's been any big missed calls or calls that have impacted play for the most part. Definitely
way different from the Jamaica game where threw on goal, went down in like the first minute. US forward went down in the first minute, and it looked to be a red card. The fact that it wasn't given, that was talked about for the next 45 minutes. There, refereeing was a big deal. This game, haven't heard much about it.
Yep.
Haven't heard much about it, which is a good sign. Good for the refs.
Oh, our final third play is so rough.
I mean, look how many guys Panama has behind the ball right now, and not just guys behind the ball, in like a grid, or like one cell of a grid in the middle of the pitch. It's like 7 guys. Ooh, ouch.
Getting physical in there.
Good point though here. How is it not airing on national television? Should this sort of game be on national television? Is that realistic?
Absolutely, 100%. This is a national team. It is crazy that it's not on national television. Blame the NFL. They're also playing on Sunday, so that's a big factor. Yeah, it should be televised. Absolutely.
There has been a lot more MLS games on national TV this year. And maybe, again, it's one of these things that we're just noticing because we're watching and talking about them. But on Fox, some of the El Tráfico LA games, and I think Minnesota might have been on there earlier in the season. So more soccer games nationally televised, but agreed, this U.S. men's national team should be up there with it. Fortunately, it's not just yet. But the World Cup itself, do we know what channel? It's pretty early.
It's actually all going to be strictly aired on PBS. It's going to be public comment. It's going to be a lot of old people talking about it. And no, that is not true.
I think it's going to be, usually it's like a CBS combo or ABC combo with like an ESPN or a Universal or whatever those channels are. But usually a CBS or ABC will pick up part of the deal for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's going to be everywhere in 2026 because it's actually going to be here in the U.S. So get excited for that. Oof. Good touch.
Yeah, our live streams will be from the stadium in 2026.
Yeah, we're actually working on a deal right now to buy the rights to televise the 2022 World Cup, which is kind of crazy for a small channel such as ourselves to be in a bidding war with ESPN, with Paramount Plus. Because we hear you, Grey Knight. We were thinking the same thing. We don't want to pay for this anymore. What's the solution? We host it. We pay for it, so no one else has to.
So, Grey Knight, do yourself a favor. If you want to catch some good games, some good commentary, throw us a free follow.
Yeah.
That one doesn't cost anything.
Believe you might be subscribed to the channel already because you've hung out for a couple of live streams, which we appreciate.
Excellent.
So you know what's going on here.
Well, let us know how that Mexico-Honduras game is.
Ooh, the stretcher's coming out.
Is it a delay tactic? Honduras was doing that a lot.
Wow, the Mexico-US game must be on Univision. No? The like one of their qualifying games. At least we'll catch that one on national TV.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's the 65th minute. Panamanian player is down. He's being stretchered off. I think he's totally fine. It looks like he's just kind of sitting there. Maybe he's not. It could be worse.
I think we need Berhalter to make some subs. I think it's time. It's the 65th minute, like you said. Well, how many subs came in? Just one, I think. Aronson.
We got two. We got Adams as well in there at half.
Oh, okay. Now, do you guys know? I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it immediately. Are there 3 subs allowed or 5?
I feel like it's 5.
It's 5. I'm looking at the Jamaica game. 5 players came off, so still 3 subs left to make. Will one of them be Pepe? Should it be IC?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's got to be our goal scoring team. I mean, we need goal scorers. The final third is looking real. Oh, here we go. We got 3 lined up. Perfect.
Look at this. You spoke it into existence, using up the
Pepe,
remaining 3 subs. He makes Roldan look pretty short.
And Roldan is huge.
He's 6'4".
At least, or if not 4'6". I'm more either way.
4'6".
Pepe's 7'2".
Pepe's 7'2".
Pepe actually, this is a little known fact that is little known. Pepe got drafted by the Knicks and was going to play in the NBA back when he was 14, or play on their youth squad at least. And then he chose soccer. He chose football, and now he's one of the U.S.'s top recent scorers. So pretty exciting.
That's them's be facts.
3 changes. Got Pepe, Roldan, and Yedlin. Who was the other change?
Yes.
So Weah is out. Zardes was out. And maybe Shaq Moore. I wonder who Yedlin came in for.
Ladino. Yedlino.
Yep, Shaq Moore's out. So that is all the subs. The U.S. has now used all of their substitutions in the 68th minute.
And that's okay. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. That's
I mean, it's not ideal if you want to approach a game, but in the circumstances that we find ourselves, Berhalter did the right thing.
Yep, down 1-0. Got to give time to guys coming in. You see a lot of times, 89th minute, Giroud will come in or someone else comes in, and they don't really have time to make an impact. You kind of feel bad for them. They're just an afterthought. They're thrown on so late into the game. So giving them 20 minutes, 25 minutes probably with injury time, it's like, all right, show me what you got. You're getting a real chunk. You're getting 1/4 of the game here, if not more. If not Shaq more.
Nice.
Thank you for that one.
Panama made a couple subs themselves. It definitely feels like there's we're entering a concrete final portion of play here. The last 20 minutes. It's going to be a little choppy. I don't know if the U.S. is feeling as constructive and flowy as they used to. It kind of feels like they're just throwing the ball up and seeing what they can do. Ball's flopped in the back post. Who's that? Yedlin crashing in?
We definitely have enough players running forward. Oh, come on, Pepe.
Pepe. Oh,
all right. He whipped it across.
Pepe already getting in there. Yedlin, what's going on, dude?
Took a spill there on the challenge. Yeah, just hit a little too hard. That's a tough one. That's all you can do though. Put it to the back post. I can't get over that Berhalter chest sweat. So, that's going to be all over the media tomorrow, all over the news.
I hope so.
If you want to get ahead on the news outlets, start tweeting about it now.
Start making those memes immediately.
Yeah.
Because they'll be in use tomorrow.
Hey, could be a meme.
Does the sweat that is pooling in the chest cavity of Berhalter's torso, does that get even damper if the U.S. loses this game? Or is it already like, is this kind of a, you're probably going to lose away at Panama? Is this just a kind of given table stakes?
I think it increases. It grows in size.
I think we're looking at a Pangea type situation. It's going to turn, from Sicily to Pangea, and his whole shirt's going to be soaked by the end of this match. Oh, come on. Who is that too?
Hey, we're looking for Pepe. He's hunting. I love watching him play in some of those previous games. I just love how hardworking Pepe is up top, and his knowledge for the game, which is what makes him a natural striker. Is he's just always in the right spot. We're starting to see that.
Right.
And him working off the ball and winning balls defensively is just one of those like, come on, lad, where you feel proud even though you don't actually know them. Love to see guys work defensively off the ball, especially strikers.
Wow, what a great first touch.
That's a beautiful touch.
Pepe's playing with some confidence. And Brendan Aronson, man, he just works. Unlucky.
Tough one.
Entering the 72nd minute, still U.S. is down 1-0. The Panamanian crowd is there in full force. It looked like a little sparse at the beginning, and maybe these cameras are just showing us a couple sections in particular, but it's looking like it's humid. It's looking like it's a tricky away game in the octagonal. I'm not sure how we're feeling here, but we're gonna need some spark of magic to help the U.S. pull out a result in this game.
It's a good point, actually. That appreciate the engagement here. Great night. Everyone would love everyone to jump in, share some thoughts. It's a great point, though. Jermaine Jones brought that grit. Who on this U.S. team is the enforcer? Who on this U.S. team can mix it up with other players on the pitch like that? Brooks out of the back, who's injured right now. He's not playing, but he's a defender, so you got to be careful there. Out of the midfielders, I mean, Tyler Adams gets chippy sometimes, but he's a smaller guy. I guess it's McKinney. If anyone, it's McKinney that's bodying the other team, winning balls in the air, that sort of thing. So we've got it, but perhaps not as much as 10, 15 years ago, as we now have more skilled players, technical players.
Yeah, you can think of our team as a little bit, it's almost inverse in some ways, but does Spain play the same way that the U.S. does? Does Spain try to replicate what we do, which is a lot of technical players, more finesse? Busquets is maybe your defensive mid, but is he a hard-nosed enforcer? He's not like a Casemiro per se. To your point, Eli, no, we don't have the physique. To make it happen. But that's the important thing. And maybe that's a philosophical question we just have generally when you're playing for the U.S. and you're trying to win out of Concacaf. Can you just play your way out of this competition? And it doesn't seem like you can. There's so much physicality, so much grit that's required to go into Central American countries and come out with a result. So I don't think you can be the most technical team and still win. You do need enforcers. You do need people who are going to play direct and punch some mouths.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jones. The one thing I guess I would add about this match in particular is that we are playing to Panama's style. We're not really dictating the flow of the game. We are letting them dictate it. And it's much more quick pace, it's not fluid, and that's what Panama wants us to play like. So I would want someone to step up and sort of orchestrate some possession on this team, work it around, and actually make some good final third passes. I mean, we can't get the last link, the last bit of the chain to get the goal is just broken.
Yep. 100%. We need someone that's going to make something happen, which, everyone way is capable. Some of the guys that came off, some that came on, they're all capable of, but we just haven't seen it yet tonight against Panama. We actually have some breaking news as well, it seems like. Breaking news, the humidity in Panama.
Panama City, Florida.
I looked up Panama City thinking I'd get humidity for where the game's being held in Panama, because you might have said Panama City earlier.
It's Panama City.
Is it in Panama City? No.
Panama City, Panama?
That's
what's the capital of Panama?
Yeah, what's the capital of Panama?
Everyone knows.
All right, we're going to redo this breaking news.
Panama City's the capital. List of cities in Panama. We've got Panama City. We've got Colon.
All right. Well, in general, humidity is 84% right now. So that's why that's why Berhalter's got the Vicks vapor rub, as someone commented, on his chest. That's why he's sweating. That's why players are sweating. It's 84% humidity out there.
Ooh, that looked like a mad tackle. Ugh.
Heavy challenge in the middle from Panama.
Okay. $20 that the Panamanian player is going to lay there.
Oof.
And milk out.
Late.
He's going to be laying there until a stretcher comes out.
Till the 80th minute.
Okay. Over under 77th minute.
Under.
Over under.
Definitely under.
All right. We're watching it. We're
Okay.
at 75-45. He's holding his knee. It looks like he's saying to the ref, "Oh, I might need I need some help. I'm going to need a stretcher."
How much times it's like asking refs in rec league, how much time's left? Like there's not a scoreboard somewhere.
Oh, it doesn't help that he's up.
Oh,
Wow,
he got
barely
yellow.
up, but he got the yellow.
Wow. So, Jones, you lost a bet.
Well, hold on. The play hasn't resumed.
Yeah, we need play to resume to finalize this bet. The fact that Acosta's down, did I know that when I made the bet? No, but
it looks like
it's going to be 77.
He's down again.
Oh my
He's down
god,
again.
same dude? No
Look,
way.
he's
He's like,
down.
give me more time.
Oh,
Is that the same dude?
I think it's the same dude.
Did he just walk around and then go back down?
I mean, I would too. All right, can he take 30 seconds to get off the field? We'll see.
I mean, to be fair, it's Acosta as well, so currently on defense, Shackmore came out. So Yedlin's in there. We've got McKenzie, Zimmerman, Bello, Legette's still in, Acosta's still in, and then off the bench, we've got Tyler Adams, Roldan, Aronson, and Pepe up front. So some names from the last game against Jamaica. There's a replay of the goal. That was a tough one. Tough goal for the U.S. to give up at the start of the second half off a corner. Just unfortunate.
The one thing, man, I don't know. Just every time we're playing these either like over the top balls or like over kind of these in swingers to the wings. And we've been doing that all game and it hasn't worked. Why are we still doing it? You got to play feet. We're just not playing feet. Play it on the ground. Like trying to get people to run onto stuff when they're at the top of the box. One, you're not going to head a goal in from there. And two, it's going to be hard to bring it down.
The U.S.'s pressing has been a little suspect. I don't know if it's been as organized as it could be to actually contain them. Great night. Asking about the temperature. Great question. It looks like it's about 24 degrees Celsius.
Is that low 80s?
So if you want to
Low 80s.
if you want to calculate that yourself.
Low 80s, 84% humidity, and to really feel in the game and feel like we are in Panama viewing the game as true U.S. fans, that's what the temperature in our apartment is also right now. We cranked it up to 80.
Yeah.
We cranked it up to 80 and 84% humidity.
And we brought in some tropical plants, insects, and birds. So, do we have malaria? I don't know. We're not doctors. We don't know. We genuinely don't know. If you guys could in the chat let us know what the symptoms are.
But are we guaranteed massive, the biggest U.S. fans out there? Yeah, safe to say.
Safe to say.
But does it come at a cost? Absolutely.
Some may say an Acosta.
Comes at an Acosta. That's pretty good. Everyone that's joining us, hopefully you've been watching the game, and hopefully you're not as disappointed as us. You just turned it on, so you can bring some good juju to this this U.S. team down 1-0 against Panama, because we need that. We need that extra push right now from everyone joining the stream, everyone that has hopefully just turned on the game and can change the tides. Are you superstitious? Have we talked about this? Are you superstitious at all?
I'm not that superstitious. I do feel like there are things you can put into the universe that will negatively affect, like, bad thoughts. I think if you're putting bad thoughts out there, you might affect the general energy, and then that energy will affect the play. But what are you thinking here?
A
Icy, you superstitious?
Just a little bit. Like I don't know. Yes, in my own way. I believe in karma for sure. I don't know if that's superstition or not.
You're not superstitious. You're kind of stitious.
Yeah, right. I'm
is what you're saying.
stitious.
He's a little stitious.
You're a little stitious.
Dude, sorry. We just got this other injury. This is just going to happen for the rest of the game, I feel like.
Yeah. That's the problem going down in these. I mean, not just the qualifiers, soccer all around the world, but it's like a double whammy going down in a game because, yes, you're down 1-0. You have to catch up. But because of how time wasting works, especially in Concacaf, where teams are very comfortable doing it, this could be a head injury. Don't want to undermine it. Could be something that needs actual medical attention. But in general, once you're down 1-0, the game becomes 20% shorter because every injury, every ball that goes out, and that's just part of the game these days. Like, I'm not blaming any individual team, but that's the double whammy of going down in a footy match 1-0. Fighting the clock.
For those joining, we're in the 80th, 81st minute. U.S. is down 1-0. Panama player turned into a U.S. player, head-on-head collision. All players seem to be just lying down, so I don't think they're going to be moving anytime shortly. I'll take the over-under on maybe game resumes at 83 minutes.
Yeah.
The game has become a little more staccato, is kind of what we're talking about here. It's there's less flow. It's more play, out of bounds, foul, wait for a bit, classic tactics. So we have nothing to comment on at the moment, other than the technique being used to help heal up the wound. It appears. I don't know. Do you know who that was? Is that Tyler Adams? Is that Acosta?
Might have been Acosta.
It looks like they're cleaning his head. I think he's like cut his head on a head-to-head collision here.
Dang.
Yeah, that kid. It does look like he maybe got.
You made the comment earlier. I see. Should coaches be wearing suits? Like, they're showing Berhalter's getting a lot of screen time right now, and it makes me think if he wore a suit, the U.S. might have a goal by now.
Yep.
That's what I've been thinking,
Yep.
Here's a fun fact that I recently found out about. It made me more appreciative of the game of football. Is that we get, as viewers and fans of the game, the beautiful sport, we get 90 minutes of action, right? That's guaranteed. Extra time, that's a little cherry on the top. I learned that American football, good old NFL, just give me your guesses how much action gameplay there is in an entire game of the NFL.
I'm going to go 32 minutes.
So gameplay is like live when a play is live, not just clock running?
Correct.
Play is live. Wow. Well, the clock runs. The play clock is like 40 seconds every time. I'll go less. I'll go like 26 minutes out of 60.
You guys are both off. You guys are both high. It is 11 minutes in an NFL game. Isn't that insane?
It's funny. You think of the time of possession is usually because it's carving that out of the full time. So they always have that split, but really it's legitimately time actually played. It's wild.
It's insane. It's literally it kind of makes you think, oh my God, this 3 hours of the event is commercial.
Yeah.
This is so much branding.
Realistically, that's part of the reason soccer's struggled to catch on. Like someone earlier mentioned national TV. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but that is true. And I think you could argue, like, I was thinking about that and I was like, oh my gosh, how are NFL fans not NHL fans? For like the bang for your buck, the NHL, 60 minutes guaranteed of like heavy hitting action, goals. Like there's stuff back and forth. NHL, I think I said this to you guys multiple times. This is underrated as a national sport.
Absolutely. No, we hear you. We feel you.
There was a stat with soccer. I remember talking with an old college coach about this. Ooj, if you're watching, what's up? He's not watching. I remember talking about this stat a couple of years ago that over half of the soccer game, the ball is not actually in play. It was like literally over 50% of the 90 minutes, the ball is not in play because it's a dead ball, like throw in, free kick, balls being placed and not actually played, fouls, like this kind of stuff. It might have even been higher. I will safely say at least 50%, but it might have been like 60 or 70. And whatever article that was or book I read that in, they were arguing for a stopped clock after everything, like not a running clock as soccer currently works, and instead make the game, 60 minutes, but it's a stop clock. So, you're getting 60 minutes of action. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Interesting. I actually didn't even realize that the drop ball or dead ball situations added up to that much time.
It's kind of crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Especially in games like this. Yeah. Well, and the tough part about giving yellow cards for it, like is being talked about in the chat, is like, how do you draw the line? How do you truly know if someone is injured? Obviously, a lot of it is just milking it. We've all done it if we've played the sport. If you are intelligent about what the scoreboard is and how to benefit your team, we've all done it. But I don't know how you know when someone is really injured. Like, I don't know how you can make that call.
Yeah.
Well, my emotions are being injured as the U.S. is continued to stay behind in the score. It's 0 for the U.S., 1 for Panama as we enter the 86th minute. I'm sure they'll probably see at least 6 or 7 minutes of injury time.
True.
But regardless, Panama is continually, resiliently staying in this game and keeping the U.S. from actually holding the ball and pressing. The ball's now,
that's a bad foul. What's up, Anthony? How's it going? How is it going? Hopefully you're doing better than the U.S., like Max is just saying.
Oh, another player on the ground. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, he got him from behind. The U.S. looks like they've pushed so many guys forward that they've lost their midfield a bit, and it's working because they're finding guys. They're playing through the channels and finding guys, one level beyond the midfielders. But it's kind of funny that they've ditched their midfield. Every ball is going like 20, 30 yards, even if it's pinged on the ground.
It's reminiscent of high school soccer. I feel like what you got going on is very much like, okay, we've got the ball, it's break, front three, run in different directions, and we'll try to hit you. There doesn't look like there's any substantial, cohesive movement from a collective, midfield and front line.
Whoa, that's a bad stat.
That the U.S. has conceded first in 34. What?
World Cup qualifying matches.
Did it say consecutive?
No, not consecutive. Just World Cup qualifying matches. And then it gave the breakdown of how many wins and losses. 3 wins, 26 losses, and whatever the remaining ties. That's brutal.
It is tough. It is tough to play on the road in Concacaf. Like, it's just, the field conditions, the fans, the stadiums, like, it's just, I mean, it's good. I'm glad that it's such an advantage for the home team. And the U.S. hopefully brings that same atmosphere when there's games in Texas, where Austin FC plays, or if there's games in Cincinnati at that new stadium, which is super nice. Or I forget where the other World Cup qualifying game has been in the U.S., but we've been getting some pretty good atmosphere. All the games I've seen in the U.S. have been packed stadiums, raucous crowd, big U.S. support. So we've got to match some of these Central American countries in terms of how passionate they are for the game here and how much it helps their squads. We need
a what do they call that? A stretcher count. You need a stretcher little tally at the top corner of the screen. I think we've seen 5 so far.
As many as the U.S. has had corners.
That's a good balance for like how effective, how like people look at XG as a proving way to demonstrate what a team's real impact was in a certain game. I think what you really want to be measuring is corner versus opposing team's stretcher ratio. You want it as even as it can be.
Aye, Pepe. Bad touch. Oh, that's out. That's out, sir. Sir, that ball went out of play. Okay.
There we go.
Keep it. Oh, get rid of the ball. What are we doing?
What are you doing?
Oh, man. Just very slow in the middle. All right. All right. Swallowed up by Matt Turner. But yeah, all of a sudden, I feel like we've sped up the second half. We're in the 90th minute because no.
Well, now we're going to get like 25 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, there's going to be. I mean, are we taking guesses before it's about to hit? Like 8 minutes?
I'd say
7?
9, yeah. 9.
I'll take 2.
Yeah, a little Price is Right action.
Max blacked out the last 30 minutes, so he has no idea what's even going on, what we're watching.
There's been no stoppage. This game's been nonstop. It would be criminal to put anything over 1 minute of extra time here. It looks like Walker. Is that Walker Zimmerman?
Oh, they pushed him all the way up top? Wow. Interesting. That's very high school. Put the center back. Put the skilled center back up top so you can whip in balls. I mean, it's just smart. It's a good play.
Oh,
7 minutes.
All right.
I think a little low.
Yeah, the time wasting, I mean, it's sort of new, but now it's accepted by everyone. It's one of those things like you could complain about it, but if you don't do it, you're not on the same playing field. You're not, you're not getting the benefits other teams are. So it's kind of sad, but
I wonder if there are stats around it. You'd think so in the stats-filled world.
Around time wasting?
Yeah, around like, you're up and if it throws other teams off their rhythm or like how that actually ends up affecting gameplay.
Yeah. It's a good point.
We're entering the 91st minute. U.S. is down 1-0 away at Panama. There's a lot of arm flailing at the fans to get them hyped up from the Panamanian players. U.S. is playing very direct. They've moved their center back, Walker Zimmerman, up to the front line and just lobbing direct balls up to the top for him to hopefully win.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Just lobbed a ball into the box that has been controlled by the Panamanian keeper.
Good question from Gray Knight. What do the Concacaf World Cup qualifying standings look like if the U.S. loses? Let's not jinx it. Let's not go that far yet, but we will take a look right after this game. So stick with us at what the standings look like because some other games going on. Mexico is leading. Costa Rica is leading. It's getting much tighter at the top of these World Cup qualifying standings. So stick around. We'll look at those about 5 minutes from now. But for now, we're just hoping and praying that the U.S. can find a goal somewhere because it really hasn't looked like it. They haven't had any concrete chances in the last couple
They
of minutes.
have not, really, most of this game. Do
All right,
we have any shots on target?
Does Matt Turner come in the box? It's obviously he shouldn't.
92nd, yeah, maybe 3 minutes from now, 4 minutes
We're
from
second
now.
on the table. I don't know if we necessarily need that.
Yeah, because there's still a full 9 matches after this.
It's just that's not a great ball from Acosta. You got to hit a little deeper. I mean, did he kick that out? Oh
What just
man,
happened?
Wow, Panama's they are hyped. They're
telling their team to calm down. Plenty of time wasted here. It'd be good to see some stats on actual playing time in this game because they're really taking their time. Might need the ref to enforce that time wasting here with some yellows, like folks were suggesting in the chat. Oh, that is not. You don't want to give away a free kick there. That's another 45 seconds.
Yeah, why are they doing that? Well, did you guys book your tickets to Panama? Because it's going to be a party tonight down there.
We didn't fly in for the game, but we're flying in for the after party.
So I was interested because the crowd is hyped. This game means a lot to them. They really want to maintain their top 4 status, if not move up into potentially 3, second or third. Panama first ever World Cup appearance was in 2018.
First ever, wow,
which feels a little shocking.
Oh,
so I think they've had a taste for that glory and they want it back. They are now hungry for it. So this win would be huge for them.
How did they do in the World Cup? Do you remember, Jonesy?
They either won or didn't make it out of the group stages. I think it was the group stage.
Okay. They either won.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, they won the World Cup in its entirety.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, say in the chat, U.S. must be able to win away games. You got to at least get points from some of them. That's the big thing. Even if you're not winning, you got to pick up points because it is tough to play on the road here in the Concacaf World Cup qualifiers. But if you can't win any away games, you're going to be really fighting for that fourth playoff spot or last spot to sneak in third.
Yeah, look, no shade on Panama. They made it to the World Cup. We didn't. But their results, they did not make it out of the group. They were in Group G with Belgium and England. They lost all 3 of their matches with a goal differential of -9. So it was not an easy group draw for sure. But hey, that's still awesome for those players and country to make it.
If Panama can keep it up and hold on this result, we're in the entering the 95th minute here. We got 2 minutes left of extra time. U.S. down 1-0 away at Panama. The ref is not allowing any time wasting. There is
another ball on the field. What is going on? It looked like a ball boy.
Oh, but right here, there's also right.
Oh my God! Oh, another actual fan on the field. What is happening? This game is descending into pandemonium. You're in Panamanian. That's what I should have said.
Wait, was that
the players are fine with it? This is like
that ran onto the field.
What did you say?
Was that a sub that ran onto the field, or was that a fan?
No, that was a fan.
Oh.
A very confused substitute. Now it looked like a fan in just a T-shirt, a red T-shirt,
or a very out of shape substitute.
This game is going downhill. It's been going downhill since Panama scored with multiple injuries, a lot of time wasting, and now fans on the field. Tough one for the U.S. Oh, that's a flying kick. Oh, man.
Just the ball is not bouncing their way.
Like, what is that?
Who is throwing balls on
It's
the
a
field?
ball boy or someone over there is just launching balls onto the field. What is going on?
What the heck? The ref's like, I don't get paid enough for this stuff.
What is going on? I can't tell if he's trying to time waste or what, but I'm convinced that ball boy just twice with the vest threw the ball in the field. Like, what is going on?
Man, they're just refusing.
What are they doing?
What? Oh, it's another fan on the
these are
field
just
who's just like going crazy.
They're running around. I think what they're doing is they're running around the field and they're kicking these balls that they've set up on the side of the field on those cones.
Yeah, I think you're right.
True Concacaf moment, like Talking to Woods said in the chat. True Concacaf moment right here. It's going to be a weird one. Hopefully they get more. Hopefully the U.S. gets more time here in injury time than 7 minutes because it's been like 3 more within this, but that's just not how the game works. He's gonna blow it like 8 minutes in, and that's that. Oh my God, he just blew it right at the 7-minute marker. Crazy.
Wow, that was nuts. Well, you can't blame the ref at this point in the game. USA should have done a lot more.
Hey, Panama found a way to win. It's just about that first goal, even if it's a deflection off a corner. That's just the way the ball bounces. So the U.S. are gonna have to find a way to come back from this one.
Yeah,
they might have Mexico next, or someone else, and then Mexico.
Got Costa Rica.
Well, that's not easy.
Costa Rica, Mexico, 2 huge games coming up for the U.S. So we'll look at those standings in 1 second. Anthony's comments on the U.S. coaching situation, hiring MLS coaches that aren't ready to coach at the international level. Oh, we should look to hiring guys like Wagner at the Union or Pochettino or Simone. Oh, where you're looking for like international coaches to European coaches coaching big club teams to come coach the US. I mean, moving from PSG to the US would be quite the change.
And pretty intuitive. We have a lot of players like Mbappe on our squad that I mean, I think people have been saying that we have if I'm not mistaken, a Medford Messi on our team. So that would be a seamless transition for Pochettino. Something to keep in mind, of course, naturally, is that we have done that. We've had Jurgen Klinsmann, who came in and was the German national team head coach. He was an absolute stud in the Premier League. And what came of that? He was run out of town pretty quickly. I think his team, if I'm not mistaken, that may have been Bruce Arena in the interim. But anyway, he was a part of a team that eventually didn't make it to the World Cup. You can associate it with his kind of pedagogy. So maybe that's harsh. But I think the Berhalter project is one that is very much just that, a project. I also think there's a little added scrutiny. I don't think people really cared about these games before. I think we were being harsh on a coach who, is working with a young team. I don't think if he was any more internationally savvy that he'd be able to pull in better results. This lineup we all should accept didn't include McKinney. This lineup did not include Pulisic. This did not include Reyna. Adams was subbed in later on.
Yep.
This is a lineup that was missing a lot of key international stars for this national team, this young U.S. national team. Panama's a great team. We got to move on from it. You move on from it. You accept it. It's not helping for us to play the blame game. Clearly, things weren't clicking, but we've shown that it can click previously. So hopefully this is a one-off.
Talking to Woods, appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Let's take a look at the standings before everyone heads off, continues their night. Let's take a look at what this 1-0 loss for the U.S. means for the Concacaf table in 1 second. So let's look at this table. We've been talking about it a couple times now. The Mexico result should be almost final. I believe a lot of these games started at the same time. So that result should be almost final. The U.S. is in second, and we're actually tied with the team that just beat us 1-0, Panama. Both of us on 8 points. But it is tight. It is tight in the middle. So Mexico on top with 11. One win away. Still so many games to play with 14 total games. So we're not even halfway there. But currently, as it stands, Mexico, U.S., Panama, Canada, a lot of rhyming, sitting right there behind, and then Costa Rica, who the U.S. plays next in fifth, a team that has made noise at the last couple of World Cups. So a really tight CONCACAF group this year.
Yes, tight CONCACAF group. You've got a lot of young and talented players on this U.S. team. This Canada team has exciting players. Costa Rica and Panama have historically been troublemakers. They are teams that have made it to previous World Cups, as has Honduras. And Mexico clearly is reigning at the top. Tonight, should the U.S., if you're a U.S. fan, are you slamming the panic button icy? Are you worried that we might not actually make it out of qualifying and you're having deja vu back to 2017?
Not quite yet. 14 games, 9 remaining. We are stuck right in there in second place. Not comfortably, but we're in the mix for sure. I think it's once we start to get to the bottom of that third place seeding is where we really start to get nervous, which I hope it doesn't come to that. So
it was sort of go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was sort of a lackluster performance tonight. You can chalk that up to, Jones was saying, we're missing a lot of guys. You can chalk it up to second game on this back-to-back with one more remaining of this World Cup qualifying stretch here where we didn't have a lot of the starters. So even though we got a bunch of subs in at halftime and in the 70th minute, maybe not enough time for them to make a difference. But it really just felt like one of those games, one of those away games in CONCACAF where someone's going to score a goal off a header, off a corner. And it's not usually the U.S. scoring those goals. That's just kind of what it's felt like the last couple of years, where if it's one of those bounce your way, get lucky type goals, it's going against the U.S. And that's just a tough spot to be in a CONCACAF group that's so tight, because one win like this, plenty of games left to play, but these 3 points where we couldn't even get 1 point out of it could come back to haunt them later on in the qualifying session.
Absolutely. Yep. There are more games. This team definitely just needs more time to play with one another. I think, the ball bouncing in different directions, not bouncing in our favor or the other team getting quote unquote favorable, deflections. Usually that's a sign of a team that is just well organized. Things are working well for them. They have momentum going in their favor because they are underdogs usually. They just kind of are going with the flow. They're just out there to play as they play. The U.S. team doesn't necessarily have that. The U.S. doesn't have that. They are still building. They're rebuilding. We got a ton more left in this qualifying. I think the next 3 games are probably going to say a lot. I think the next 3 games is the next 3 games for all other teams in this group. And if we can work ourselves through, who do we have to play next?
I mean, especially the U.S., Costa Rica, Mexico coming up next. One of them this upcoming week, Costa Rica, then time off and come back fresh in November. So actually another month break until then. But huge game against Costa Rica now, as we were just looking at the table, and Mexico as well after that. So 2 big games for the U.S.
Huge games. Icy, right now, do you have the U.S. finishing in the top 3? And if so, where? If not, where do you have them falling?
I do have us finishing in the top 3. I think we'll get second place, but we're making it harder on ourselves. And like you said, Eli, dropping points like this, not good. At least I think we could have gotten a tie, but really a poor performance overall from the team. So, well, you just have to regroup and get it back for the next game. You have 9 left, so it's do or die. 9 games to make it to the biggest tournament in the world. So, I think they'll do it.
Man, they better make the World Cup this year. That would be such a bummer. Like, I would be really personally bummed out if they found a way to not qualify for the 2022 World Cup, because there's so much good momentum in general. You get the one-off, shifts, but so much good momentum for U.S. soccer, for U.S. soccer players, that that would feel like a real gut punch to not qualify for the World Cup. Even if we win, we win Gold Cups or we win Nations Leagues, it's awesome. But something that can bring the country together on a larger scale for the U.S. and that can give us some cred on the world stage as a international team. Like, that would just be massive if we didn't make it. But yeah, comments, clock stopped, running clock. We talked about that. That was a story from this game. Ton of injuries, a lot of time wasting. Should there be a clock, non-running clock? It would feel very different, but maybe a good prime example of that. Yeah, Berhalter, he made subs. Maybe people will get on him for the starting lineup, but you got to give guys rest. There's a game 3 days ago. Not much to complain about there. And one more game against Costa Rica next Wednesday to see how the U.S. can do in this 3-game stretch. Can they go 2-0-1, 1-1-1, 1-0-2? Those are all the permutations. That's literally what they could do.
Thank you.
That's great. Impressive. Guys, this has been awesome. We've had a pretty high view rate on this stream the entire night. As a reminder, we are the Footy Fellas. We are doing this all the time. Well, when we can, at least. Look, Paramount Plus. Does it cost money, Eli, to subscribe to Paramount Plus?
Yes.
And Icy, remind me, ESPN. Can you just watch that for free, or do you have to pay a little money for that?
You got to pay a little bit for that one.
Oh, but if I'm not mistaken, the Footy Fellas, that's us. You can subscribe for free $99.
Free $99, baby.
And we will give you that good, sweet content. Any last words? Any kind of final thoughts you want to leave the crew with?
It was fun. Happy to do this with you both. And come on, USA. We got this. We'll beat Costa Rica. We'll be back on the right path.
Heck yeah. Love watching the U.S. We'll have to stream some of these later qualifying games. Probably not the Wednesday one, but later on in the year, we'll definitely be streaming some more U.S. games. Check out the podcast. We talk a lot of MLS, EPL, a lot of Premier League, a lot of footy all around the world, women's footy, NWSL, just different storylines, banter, all that good stuff. That sweet, good, like Jones said. So check out the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Footy Fellas. And it's been great. Appreciate you supporting, engaging in the chat, and take it easy. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays.
Cheers.
Take it easy.